What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Action Movie Anatomy, and today is a very, very special one. We're going to start it off a little bit different today because Angel Has Fallen is the movie we're covering this week, and Ben and I and Action Industries were able to be there on the red carpet talking to all the stars, so we figured before we hop into the regularly scheduled programming, we will hop into some interviews that Ben and I did on the red carpet from the Angel Has Fallen premiere. Let's check it out, and then we'll hop in to Action Movie Anatomy.
I'm Gerard Butler for Action Industries, and you can call me Jerry B anytime.
What's going on, guys? Ben Bateman,
Andrew Ghai here.
We are here for Action Industries for the very first ever live red carpet by Action Industries. We are talking Angel Has Fallen, the brand new Gerard Butler kick-ass action flick. We're going to talk the entire cast. You hyped, Andrew?
Oh, I mean, how appropriate for Action Industries to be to place with Gerard Butler and Nick Nolte. I am so hyped.
If we can get Jerry B to once call himself Jerry B tonight, we will be satisfied. We'll see you guys in 1 second on the carpet.
This is one of my favorite franchises out there, honestly.
Is it?
Yes, and this is my favorite one in the whole three.
The most fun to be called back on, for a third go-around with this franchise. And they send you the script and you figure out that, oh my goodness, this is the best one yet. So
I felt the exact same way. We were lucky enough to watch it last night, and I thought it was just a 102-mile-an-hour fastball right down the center. Talk to me a little bit about what Jared put you through. I heard he put you through the ringer a little bit. Now, I know you're still in good shape, but I heard he put you through the ringer.
No. Yeah, Gerard's taking the credit for stuff that he didn't do. Rick put me through the ringer.
Okay, you heard it here first. Morgan putting Gerard on blast.
Gerard was just doing his job. He wasn't insisting that I do anything at all. I'll tell you, where's that guy? He's the director.
All right, so the last question I have for you, Morgan.
In an alley by himself, he's gonna know about it. Why?
Do you listen to yourself on the Waze app? There's the Morgan Freeman voice on the Waze app. I mean, you probably don't drive yourself much, but I listen to it.
I drive myself all the time, but I don't even have the Waze app.
You just know where everything is. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today.
All right.
Much appreciated.
We were looking down the carpet and we were like, geez, Stanley Houston, that guy looks fantastic. I was like, hope we get to talk to him.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I was looking at a suit, similar pattern to this yesterday. I didn't think I could pull off the checkerboard, so, you're a better man than I.
It's Xenia.
And Menjahildo Xenia.
Yeah. Well pronounced. Well said. Yeah.
I used to work in suits years ago. Yeah. So I'm a gigantic fan of your career. I think The Constant Gardener is probably my favorite role, but I have to say your voiceover in the Origins Wolverine trailer is probably the thing that I watched the trailer 100 times before that movie came out, and it opens with you with like all the horrible things in your life. And it's funny how sometimes the line from the film, it's almost immortalized more in the trailer than the movie. It hits harder in the trailer, right? Because it's like a more of a special moment. That's one of the more special things you've worked on, in my opinion. Do you have a favorite film, something you've worked on that always sticks out in your mind?
Probably one of my first films that I ever did with a director called Bernard Rose. It's a film called Ivan's Ecstasy, and it's based about a character, an agent in L.A. And it's one of my favorite experiences just because it was my first film. I didn't really know what I was doing. And we were like punk rockers, discovering stuff, and that was my personal favorite experience. But my favorite experience of watching a film is probably my father's, John Huston, Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
It's a phenomenal film. He made a lot of really great films.
He made a lot of great films, and watching my grandfather in his film, Walter Huston, when he discovers the gold on the Sierras, on the Mexican Sierras, that's probably my favorite film moment.
That's special. Do you have like something like immortalized in your house on the wall?
Well, what he used to do is he used to be a whole big sort of palaver about getting the projector up, as we're talking film, and the film would rip and it would be screened on the wall. and that was my experience. I never met my grandfather. That was my experience with my grandfather, and those were really special times.
That's a very impressive grandfather. My grandfather invented Viagra. That's my claim to fame. So there you go. We can go.
Keep it up.
We can go tit for tat. Yeah.
Very important invention. I understand.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Last.
Tell me. Yeah.
Asking for a friend. Yeah. Last question for you. You've been in DC films. You've been in Marvel films. Which do you prefer, DC or Marvel?
They're different universes, so it's difficult to say. I mean, they're literally on either side of a black hole. They're utterly different. I enjoyed working with Patty Jenkins and with Ghai and the whole new way of the new approach was what I enjoyed, and being the nemesis for Gal Gadot is fun.
All right,
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movie. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Action Movie Anatomy.
Yes. There it is.
There it is. Sex on a stick is what that is.
We switched places.
I don't even know what to do. I'm looking over at you.
I know, it feels weird, right?
It's weird. I don't turn my head this way.
No, I'm just gonna look this way the whole episode. You can look that way. And dude, this is huge for us.
This is amazing. It's huge for us. Guys, normally I'm on this side because that's my good side. If you're seeing the hideous Gorgon that I am today, I'm just kidding. This is a massive day for us.
Yeah.
Huge. Angel Has Fallen, the last great original action film of the decade, has hit theaters.
Is that what it is? You think so?
Well, I think first of all, it's a great action film.
It is.
I'm not even messing with you guys. This movie was effing sweet.
It was. You know exactly what you're gonna get when you come into this.
Yeah,
you know
right.
exactly what to expect. But I was still so happy. It exceeded my expectations. It was better than I thought it was gonna be, and I truly think it's the best in the Fallen franchise. We got to get that coined, Fallen franchise.
The Fallen franchise, yeah. Well, I think people haven't really known what to call it.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks. And people don't really know what to call it, but this movie was great. I really enjoyed it. It's not great in the this is not great like in the Bourne Ultimatum great kind of way. This is great.
Or in like the Steve Jobs or Social Network type of way.
This is great like in the I am watching a Jerry B action flick.
Yep.
And I'm getting exactly what I want. And not only that, but they actually took the ideas of the first two movies. I think they kind of elevated them with this one a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, because what happens so often is they always try to go bigger and bigger and bigger, but sometimes it's not always about bigger. Sometimes it's taking the best parts from each one of the first two or the first one and like maybe throwing away two or what, because John Wick 2 was good, but it was...
We're on an island with that franchise.
Yeah.
I swear to God that we don't feel about those movies like the world feels about those movies.
Except for the first one. We love the first one.
We do.
But not the same, like I wouldn't give it a 98% or whatever it has on Rotten.
Like they're all sweet. I just like the first one because it's... Like the second and third ones, like they just gave them too much rope, I think.
Yeah. Whereas in this one... In this franchise, we were kind of told on the red carpet
by the stars of the film,
insider information, that they were really looking to kind of change the franchise in the sense of they didn't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
They wanted to elevate it. They wanted to add stakes. They wanted to make it feel more real. They wanted to give it heart. And I think it actually did have all those things with still kick-ass action to the next level.
Right, absolutely. So, guys, this is Action Movie Anatomy. You watched our interviews with the cast here that we did of Angel Has Fallen. Those interviews, the reason that was so exciting is because Action Industries is a brand that is owned by Andrew Ghai and myself.
I own something.
It was birthed out of this show. Show, Action Movie Anatomy, that we started doing the show 4.5 years ago, 200-plus episodes ago, by the grace of the Popcorn Talk Network to give us this opportunity. And 4+ years later, we now have this brand that has been sort of built out of it. So we actually covered this carpet for Action for the first time together, which was an amazing experience.
It was absolutely amazing. We've done a lot of red carpets in our careers. I mean, you've done what feels like hundreds. I've done what feels like a lot. Not even close to as many as Ben. But I do kind of want to break this down for you a little bit. You guys saw the opening, so you know that we're going to be talking about the red carpet a little bit. We're obviously going to be talking about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But we were the very last outlet on the entire carpet, which basically means that we were like the smallest hens in the hen house there. Roosters, cocks.
Yeah, well, and what's interesting about it is, it was a relationship to Lionsgate, right? That we reached out. We were like, we did these 2 reviews of the first 2 films of the franchise. And some of you guys know this. Yeah. And Ryan, who's up in the booth, I don't know, Ryan, if you know this, but if you look up Olympus Has Fallen or London Has Fallen on YouTube, if you actually just search for them, the 2 highest viewed reviews of the films that aren't just shitting on them or like everything wrong with the movie gets more views than us.
Yeah.
Right. Or scenes or trailers. But as far as just straight down the middle reviews of the movies, we have the 2 most watched reviews on YouTube of those 2 movies.
Yeah, we have, what is it, almost like 3 million views between the 2 of them or something like that?
Yeah, London has like a crazy high number and Olympus has like almost 1 million or something like that.
And the reason that I wanted to set that up for you guys, putting us at the very end of the carpet, it usually means that you get skipped over a lot. It really does. Either the movie starts, the stars get there late, they've already done as many interviews as they want to do on the day, so they just kind of head in. That sentence that Ben just said was our golden ticket.
That was the golden ticket
for the entire night. That's how we got Morgan. That's how we got Jerry. It's how we got Danny. It was literally, we would just be like, because again, they look at us, they're like, action industry. I don't know what action industry is. I've never heard of that. And they'd kind of walk by and be like, hey, really quickly, we just want to let you know, our 2 reviews have the most views on the entire internet, on all of YouTube for London and as Olympus. So I think this would be beneficial for both parties. And they were just like, all right, you got 2 minutes with Morgan.
And the passion is there. Well, that's the point. That was what was so exciting about this carpet for us, was we were there, and we really, truly know this franchise. We love this franchise. We love Banning. We love Jerry. Like, we just wanted to communicate that. And so it was a really exciting carpet for us to go out there and do our thing and get to celebrate this franchise. And we got great stuff, as well as the cast. We got some other really cool interviews too.
Yeah, they're all up on our channel. We talked to Tito Ortiz. We talked to some of the producers in Hollywood. We talked to some motivational speakers. It was just a really, really cool red carpet event. So go check that out, Action Industries. But let's get down to business. That was Liam.
That was
Liam.
We do the thing sometimes where they I was thinking about their accents last night, actually. Jared. A lot.
An unhealthy amount.
I tried to do Jared, and I was like, it sounds more like Liam. Yeah. Same thing you just did.
I have to hear them.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm Jared Butler. You can call me Jerry B anytime.
Do you like that Jerry just has gotten away with basically like, I don't quite do an American accent, but everybody just takes me at face value as an American. I totally get away from him. He's just like, I gave up.
Well, I think the coolest thing about Jerry is that he doesn't have to act.
No.
Like, he just kind of can just do what he wants in movies and just like hang out and be himself, like kind of charming, charismatic. I mean, he's very charming in real life, but like, I watched Geostorm on the flight home from not from Utah where I just was, but the previous flight before that. And I was just like, you're just being yourself.
Right.
This whole movie, you're kind of charming, you're kind of funny, and you're kind of a badass.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, Jared is, I mean, we're going to talk a lot about him today. I think rather than just sort of off-track riffing, we should sort of do the regular, the regular way we do the show here. So we are covering Angel Has Fallen. We're going to be doing a full review of the show here. This is Action Movie Anatomy on the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network dedicated to talking movies, all things movie-related and pop culture by the bucketful. And today, we're talking Rick Romanois' Angel Has Fallen, the 3rd film in the franchise. Now, the movies we cover on this show tend to adhere to 4 basic rules. Rule number 1, the hero always plays by their own rules. Banning, 100%.
Always has. Always will.
He is Special Forces Ranger Battalion.
He will move mountains or die trying.
I know this guy. I rewatched Olympus, by the way.
It's so good.
It's sweet.
It's sweet, yeah.
It's really good. Rule number 2, the hero and the villain are always the smartest people in the room. That is true in this film.
Yeah. And all the way. Tim Blake, no, spoilers. There will be spoilers on this.
We're
full
spoiling
review episode. Yeah, I figured there should be no. There it is. Oh, you know what? I gotta also give a quick shout out. J-Lo, who's been engineering for us.
Yeah.
She is. She's back in. Her classes have started again, so she's no longer available in the mornings. And I love J-Lo. Don't get me wrong, but now we have Ryan in the booth, and Ryan's a really exciting person to have engineering our show because he joined Popcorn Talk Network, I believe, this year. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
Like just a few months ago, several months ago, and he was a huge fan of the show. I still remember the first day I met him. He kind of had that look on his face like he knew me, and I was like, oh God, I forgot who this person is. I felt like such a jackass. He's like, no, I'm new.
Like, he saw me eating the tacos out of the garbage out back, and I'm gonna get in trouble right now.
Again, and he saw me sneaking liquor from the liquor bar. But he was like, I'm a huge fan of your guys' show. I've seen almost every episode. But now he's engineering, so it almost feels, again, I love J-Lo. I thought she did an incredible job.
Yeah, amazing.
But you remember when we used to have Donica and Marissa doing it, and it felt like they were just like part of our world?
Yeah, they got it.
They're deep
fans.
in it.
Fans of the show.
Fans of the show. And so now Ryan is up in the booth engineering. Ryan, where can the people find you on social? And also maybe tell them a little bit about what you do here. Yeah, just give them a quick rundown, maybe some of the shows you're on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm overseeing the Popcorn Talk Network here at AfterBuzz TV.
Look at this. We can see him.
Yeah, you can see him.
Wow.
I found it out.
When did this happen?
This is just I just pulled up Photoshop photo booth and can put myself on the screen.
What a genius.
No, right? It's like,
4.5 years later.
I'm the man in the chair, guys. But yeah, I've been a huge fan of your show for quite a while. I love Team Action, support you in the Schmodown, and you guys just break down action films the way I want to hear them being broken down. And I'm really eager to hear your thoughts on this film because I loved Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
I didn't really, I wasn't that into London Has Fallen.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I mean, the year White House Down and Olympus came out, it was almost every indicator was that White House Down was going to be a better film. And I thought Olympus far surpassed it. It was way more entertaining than I thought it would be. But so I'm just really honored to be now producing the show for you guys. Obviously, look up to you a lot, and I think you do such an incredible job. So keep up the amazing work. Congrats on the carpet. And
Thank you.
I cannot wait to keep producing with you.
Well, and
Hell yeah.
you guys all got to meet Ryan when he was on the Inglourious Bastards episode just very recently.
Yeah,
he came on
yeah.
as the guest. So, Ryan, thank you so much for that. You're doing a great job here as we continue to develop more content for Popcorn Talk. So, rule number 3, the movie is driven by police, military, political, or mercenary figure. I mean, yeah, he's
Perfect.
He's Mike Banning.
He's Ranger Battalion. He's Secret Service. And then rule number 4, the movie contains a minimum of 1 explosion. Well, it is a
Fallen movie.
Oh, yeah. Fallen franchise.
There's so many explosions.
This is great because this is literally we don't get to go right back to our roots that often.
I totally agree. And it's funny, we didn't even realize how much we liked this franchise when not because I remember when London was coming out and I was like, you haven't seen Olympus, right? You're like, why would I watch that movie?
Yeah.
You're like, I think I watched one of them, maybe the one with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, Olympus is pretty sweet, actually. I was like,
I watched no, man. Both those White House movies were dumb. I watched the better one, just like Ryan just said.
And I was like, and I watched it on the airplane, and I gotta say, it's kind of awesome. It has some really good, it has some good hero qualifiers. It has some good moments, So then you watched it, and then we went and we covered London Has Fallen. You know, we did a show for it, and London was exciting. Everybody loved it. Went back for Olympus, and it just turns out Jerry B, he's just our guy.
He just became like the new Matt. We've gone through phases of many people on the show, and it feels like Jerry is very much the new mascot of the show. I mean, Tom Cruise will always be the number one.
TC Legend, yeah. Can't go wrong.
But people like Keanu and Jerry, they've started to move their way up. People like Fassbender and Hardy have kind of moved in the back.
They're too legitimate.
Yeah, they are. They're too
good actors.
They are. And then really quickly here, we got a super chat. Again, every super chat donation here supports the Popcorn Talk Network,
So thank you for
AfterBuzz
that.
Studios. Yes, thank you so much. Kevin and Maria, thank you as well. Paul Denuzio asks, Ryan, and this is after Will McLean asks, is Ryan Team Guy or Team Bateman for Will?
You're on notice right now,
Ryan.
Ryan.
It's a super chat, Ryan, so you got to answer the question,
I
man.
Answer the question now. Putting me on the spot, Paul. I am. You know what? Here's my answer. I'm Team Bateman.
What? Yes! Yes!
But the thing is, there's a big asterisk on that because overall, I'm Team Kalinowski.
Oh my God!
We're
done. You're out of here. We need J-Lo back. We're gonna move her school schedule around.
The damn match aired.
Take that super chat back, Paul. No, thank you so much for the super chat. And Ryan, we all make mistakes in life, so we can repair them. We got a couple patrons to shout out from our Patreon, patreon.com/Team Action.
Yeah, we have Tamar Buta and Robert Franco, and those are, I believe Tamar's a brand new general in the
Tamar
Army.
is a brand new general, and Robert Franco has been his thanks was just sitting in the chamber. I think we owed him one for a little while.
Okay.
So Tamar and Robert, we salute you.
We salute you.
Thank you so much for your support.
Big time. Hot take. Faceback app. All right, getting into the show today, we are going to do all of our fun games that you guys know and love. We are going to be doing Thesis Statement. We're going to be doing Fist Pump Moment, Favorite Line. We're going to be talking about all those fun things, career profiles. But the first thing we do on this show is we shamelessly plug all of our socials. So you guys should, because I almost forgot to do that. This is so weird to me.
Isn't it weird how you feel off kilter even though it's the same thing? Do you want to switch?
No.
Do you want to switch live on air?
No, I need to learn how to pitch left-handed.
No pitcher needs to do that. If you're a right-handed pitcher, stick with the left, stick with the right. It's all right. I believe in you. You can do this.
So, guys, if you want to follow along with what we're doing, you can follow me personally at Ben Bateman Media. You can follow him at Andrew Ghai. We have the Team Action Show on Twitter and everywhere else you want to find what we're doing. Action Industries is the place to do it. He mentioned the Patreon.
Yep.
We have a couple Facebook groups. Are those Facebook groups still super active?
They're like moderately active at best, I'd say. I mean, the big thing to do is just find Action Industries on Facebook and give that page a like, the actual like true page. As before they were fan groups, we would just kind of talk and chat and hang out in there. But I think with kind of the growth of AI and the growth of the movie trivia schmodown, those pages have kind of fallen by the wayside just a little bit. I still see stuff in there pretty often.
Couldn't we just change the name of All About Action to Action Industries? Shouldn't we just do that?
I thought about just combining them somehow, but I don't know how. So if you guys know how, let us know. Also, one more super chat from Paul Denuzio who says, WTF, best of luck in your future endeavors. So you heard it here first, Ryan.
I gotta say, shout out to that poll for Turkish Delight last match.
Oh,
that
thank
was
you.
Incredible.
I appreciate
it. Never have gotten that.
Yeah, that was a tough poll. It was a tough poll. It wasn't my day. It was things should have broken in my favor, but you know what? The tournament's gonna happen, and so. But the cool thing is, we're gonna be in New York anyway.
Yeah.
So,
should we do that real quick?
Yeah, Andrew and I are going to be this Thursday in New York. It is this Thursday night at 10:15 p.m. at the New York Comedy Club at the East Village. We are going to be doing an episode of Action Movie Anatomy Live
on MacGruber.
Yes, MacGruber. Oh, I'm going to email Forte today. Yeah, I'm going to send him an email today.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah,
we got to
get something from him.
And it's going to be the best, guys. We're going to do an episode of AMA. We're going to get Tag kind of in there. You're going to see a quick little snippet of Team Action doing predictions of the matches that weekend, and we will also be doing some live performance art. Take that for what you will.
We've got some bits we've been working on. Some bits we're working on. We're going to be doing a kind of a miniature episode of the Action Guys match predictions, and then finally, I will be performing, I believe, 2 songs. There may be some other things that go along with it. One of the songs I can tell you guys right now, because it is my favorite karaoke song of all time.
Highway Run.
That's the one. I'm going to be doing Faithfully by Journey. I'm going to be performing it on the guitar and singing it. And it's possible of a second song as well. I'm working on that right now. But
really, really, really excited about that.
It's going to be terrific. So
get your tickets now, NewYorkComedyClub.com. Let's get into the episode. Let's get into the show.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so fist pump. Thesis statement. This is your biggest boldest thought about the film. Something happens in the movie. That's fist pump moment. This is your biggest boldest thought about the film. Kind of your. This is like the thing you hang your hat on about this movie. You know, if you're telling one person this is what you need to know about this movie, it's the greatest, the best, the first, the last, the only. That's kind of where you go with thesis statement. What do you got?
Man, it's really tough, but I think what it's going to be. Because you guys already know that I believe this is the best in the Fallen franchise.
Right.
I truly do. And I want to say that my thesis is this film is the best in the franchise because of the supporting cast.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, Danny Houston, and Piper Perabo. All 3 of them do so great in this movie. And the whole thing with Piper coming in isn't even acknowledged, as it never is in movies, but it's just weird that she's just like there as his wife, Rhoda Mitchell, right?
Rhoda Mitchell.
Do you want to switch seats?
Yeah, I believe it's Rhoda Mitchell.
She left, and anyway, the whole point is that the 3 of these people in this franchise. Because what are you going to get? You still get action no matter what. You're going to get explosions. You're going to get gunfights. You're going to get all the things that you want from Mike Banning. Mike Banning's going to be the same. He is a constant in this world of changing integers. The rest of these people really elevate the film. Whether it's by... And it's all by great acting. That's really all it is. I mean, Danny Houston is a great actor. He's one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. Nick Nolte has terrific. An incredible ability to just reach deep in emotions like that. Just in his eyes, you know? And then... Piper, she's a role player, which is one of the things that you have to have in the movie. She's like the doting, like faithful wife that takes care of their kids, and she's just a badass.
She's great.
I really loved all 3 of them so much. So I have to say this is the best in the franchise, not because of the action, not because of the storyline, but literally because of the supporting cast around. And like, I almost want to call Morgan one of them, but he feels like too much of a
star.
Yeah. So Jerry and Morgan aside, the other people added to this franchise just killed it, elevated, next level.
Yeah, so my thesis statement is that Angel Has Fallen is the best film in the franchise because the franchise decided to take itself more seriously.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting after the fact. We live in this era now where all of these action movies, like, you know, John Wick and The Equalizer and the Taken franchise and Mission Impossible, like, they're these very self-aware franchises, Fast and the Furious especially, where it seems like you have to be able to kind of make fun of yourself. You have to have one-liners. That stuff has to sort of be how the movie works. Otherwise, the audience, I don't know, it's like the audience is like, I'm not going to take your dumb action movie seriously unless you like make me laugh with you a little bit.
Right.
And this movie was uninterested in making you laugh. right? Whereas like London, they definitely lean into
tried
it.
a lot. They tried a lot
yeah,
to make
Mike,
you laugh.
you know, bourbon and bad decisions.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thirsty as fuck. Like
Yeah.
all the things that he did in that movie. And they're funny. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy
they were
that.
enjoyable in the moment, but then you're like, you know, it also kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, Olympus Has Fallen is somewhere in between. You know, I think Olympus Has Fallen is definitely a lot more self-serious than London. London, they decided they were going to do that. But like Angel, it really feels like they just try to make this movie as serious as possible. And, you know, one thing about this franchise is this is an incredibly violent franchise. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was looking at the amount, because I rewatched both London and Olympus last week. I don't really remember rewatching either of them because I was pretty distracted getting ready to leave town.
Clash Royale.
But there's so many headshots in London, like bloody exploding headshots in
yeah.
London, and then Olympus obviously like kind of sets the tone. They're very violent. And this one is
the second unit director really needs to be given credit here because the action in these movies is really well executed. I actually think that the action in Angel is the best of the three. I really like the sequencing in Olympus. So the attack on the White House is a really good scene. Like,
Yeah.
it's really violent, and you know it all happens pretty fast, and it's cool too. Like
take over in the control room itself.
Yeah, and then the villain says like your response team takes, you know, whatever he says, like your response team takes 12 minutes to reach the White House. We took it in 8 or something like that. Right. Like, you know, like that line's cool because you're like, you get it. Like, that's a real threat. That's probably, you know, that's somewhere along the lines how it would really work if there was some sort of crazy takeover.
And then in London, they have like all those scenes of Jerry like torturing people with knives to get information out of them, which are like pretty intense.
Yeah, right. And then, but I think Angel Has Fallen, and again, guys, you know, spoilers here, but I really enjoyed the drone attack scene. Like that was in the trailer, and that's a really well executed piece of action. It's exciting. But the best action in the whole movie is the shootout at the end. It's the gunfight in the mall, and it's like a really good scene. That scene's awesome.
Wait, it's not a mall,
isn't it?
Is it? Isn't it like their headquarters? It's like it's a hospital.
Maybe.
I think it's their hospital. The Morgan Freeman's staying in.
No, they blow up the hospital and they evacuate.
Oh, right, and they go to the mall. Oh, okay, got it.
And they get it's
like an office building or something
like
that.
Yeah. It's a
But
tiered structure.
Regardless, yeah, the shootout in it is awesome.
It's great. Like
really well executed.
And the ending where like he blows up the helicopters before Danny gets into it, and then the knife fight.
I love the knife fight. I was actually gonna say, I think the other thesis I had was maybe the death of Danny Houston.
Yeah.
Was the most like, because it's so subtle. It's so like because all it is, they have this sweet knife fight and they're going back and forth. You're like, oh man, this is gonna end gnarly. And then it's just like a quick jab to the ribs with a knife straight through the heart.
He gets him right here.
And you see all the blood start to pour and pool on the ground around him. And Danny Houston immediately knows. It's just like
he's done.
It's like classic. It's like I don't want to say Shakespeare because Shakespeare's usually over the top, but there's something so wonderfully subtle about the way he's killed.
It's the Heat ending. It's the two guys and they're sitting there together as the one guy dies and Mike knows, you know, and that whole thing. But yeah, this movie was sweet. That was great. So yeah, I think my thesis statement is this movie succeeds so much because the franchise decided to lean away from any of that stuff and take itself very seriously.
Yeah, because there's only like one part of kind of comedy in this, right? And isn't that just like when Nolte's blowing everything up?
Yeah.
And that's just because it's so hilarious, but it's still believable.
Yeah, because he's crazy.
Because he's a crazy old like war vet. Yeah,
look at that. God, I love
that
Nolte.
guy has explosives around his house.
He looks like he's in the 10 Commandments.
He looks like he's the bad guy, or he looks like he's the guy you see at a gas station right before starting a horror movie.
They're remaking the 10 Commandments starring Nick Nolte.
You shouldn't go down that road. A lot of bad things happen down there. Yeah. And then a horror movie for the next hour and a half.
Nolte.
Just
a legend. Just an absolute legend.
He waddled past us on the carpet, and I think he was very tired.
He looked tired.
I think he was over it. I think he did not want to do any more interviews or even pictures.
It would have been crazy if we had gotten to talk to Nolte. I would have been so excited. Well, maybe we'll get him someday. So, guys, we're gonna get to the next part of the show here. This is fist pump moment. Something happens in the movie. You kind of look around. Like, are you seeing this right now? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. God, this is good. I'm so excited to watch the rest of this movie right now.
Yeah.
We got to be in the theater watching this one together, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, so we're going to get into fist pump moment. Do you want to start first?
Yeah, I think I will. And it's a Nolte moment.
Yeah.
And it's real quick. But these two thugs come to Mike Banning's house, and they're trying to convince his wife that you need to come with us to safety, but they're really sent by Danny Houston to I'm assuming abduct her. They don't really say what they're gonna do, but they end up pulling a gun on her, and the baby starts screaming, and like Mike and his dad are really far away. They just parted ways from their dad's cabin, and then the guy pulls a gun on her. I'm like, well, maybe Piper's gonna do something sweet because she's Mike Banning's wife, right?
Of course.
But she doesn't, because there's two armed men. She's holding her infant toddler child. Like, you're not gonna do anything. That's horrible. She walks out the back door, and the guy walks out behind her, and then Nolte kills both of them with a knife, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's a knife.
And it's like brutal.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, and it's instant. And like, I didn't expect Nolte to be there.
No.
I thought that they had parted ways. That's why I just said what I said, because I thought they were done seeing him for a little while in the movie. But then he kills both these people, and then he gives a sweet monologue about how he can prove that he's Mike's dad.
So my other fist pump I'll save. It's later, but I'll piggyback onto yours, and I'll just say that my fist pump moment in this movie are the two Nolte scenes. He really has 3 scenes. But like, I would say it's really the 2, because the one at the end is good too, and he says he's gonna stay. But it's really like the 2. It's like the first time that he's talking to Mike, and he has that line where he's like, "And I'll take your innocence, and I'll take your youth," and like all that stuff that he's saying, and he's going crazy, and he's like, he's doing his like nom vet thing.
Yeah.
And it's also good too because he's doing the Vietnam vet thing, but like, he's appropriately aged to be an old Vietnam vet.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's important to remember, too, that he's appropriately aged to be a non-vet. Like, in the movie, it feels like Banning is supposed to probably be, like, in his 40s. Like, feels like he's probably supposed to be, like, 42, 44, kind of there.
Yeah.
And
Gulf.
Well, he says in Iraq. He has the line about Iraq.
Oh, right, he does.
But I think it's interesting that they, Mike's not 28 with PTSD. Like, we're far enough away from the Iraq War now that, like, people in the Iraq War are Mike Banning's age now.
Yeah.
And so I think it's an important thing to remember that, like, those guys that were fighting, who not even necessarily were just kids out of school, are in their 40s and 50s. And that's a real thing. It's, we are dealing with a generation of people now that are Iraq War vets, which is like, when we were raised, movies had tons of non-vets as characters. That was a thing. And so I thought, like, the parallel of those two characters and just the scene when he's sort of sharing all that, and Mike says, like, you can't just blame it all on that. Like, you gave up, I think is what his line is.
Right.
He has some line like that. Like,
yeah, because he left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just thought the whole sequence was great, and Nolte just stole the show, man. I mean, he is the fist pump moment of the movie.
Well, yeah, and Denuzio says the same thing. He's like, I literally fist pumped at that same moment. It's the same as Ghai. He says, I literally actually fist pumped, and I almost hit my wife accidentally because he was so excited. Kim, we're so glad that you're okay. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it shows you bring in the Ed Harris in The Rock, you bring in Nick Nolte and Angel Has Fallen, and you just change the movie. You really do.
Something about that is so interesting, too, because, when we talk about categories, we'll get into this a bit more later, but, like, one of our things about the middle category, when you break up action movies into these 3 categories, totally legitimate, totally ridiculous, and ridiculously legitimate, that middle category is the sweet spot. And what it is it's a ridiculous premise, and it's, like, way over the top, but there's one thing that's really grounded that holds the movie together, and it's either like a great performance or like one amazing scene, or maybe it's just that it has, in general, like, beautiful set dressing. It's an incredibly beautiful movie, but whatever it is, there's like one aspect of the movie that really grounds it, and it does feel like when you get a good one, it completely changes the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is in this is, and to even go bigger than and extrapolate on that than just Nolte, is like, I think it's just the relationships.
Yeah.
The relationship between Gerard and Danny is great.
Yeah.
Nolte, Freeman, Piper, they're all really, really well, like, rounded relationships, even though they don't spend a ton of time on them. So, yeah, I just think they just did it. They just knocked it out of the park with this one, man.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, all right, guys, we're going to continue moving through the show here. We're going to get into career profiles, talking a little bit about the 3 leads, Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, and Nick Nolte's careers. Butler, his 3 previous films to this: How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, Hunter Killer, and The Vanishing. Did you see The Vanishing?
I don't even know what that is.
What is that movie?
I don't know. You should look it up. Morgan Freeman's 3 most recent films are The Poison Rose, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, and Alpha as the narrator. I think that's a dog movie. And then Nick Nolte, we have Head Full of Honey in 2018, The Padre in 2018, and The Ridiculous Six in 2015.
Wow, I haven't seen almost any of these movies.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We just had the director of Ridiculous Six in studios 2 days ago.
Really?
Oh, really?
That's cool.
For Ileana Douglas's new show. But yeah, I don't know if Nolte's really been in the limelight all too much.
No. I mean, 2010 or the 2010s was like a great decade for Nolte, but it's strictly because of like Warrior and this movie.
Basically, yep.
And his comeback. Tim Blake Nelson was also in this movie as like a secondary villain. He did a great job. I'm a big fan of him. That was one thing about this movie was that there was no... They weren't trying to fool you. They weren't trying to trick you. It was like the second you saw Danny Houston and Jared Butler together at the beginning of the movie, you're like, oh, he's going to betray him. And then the second you saw Tim Blake Nelson, you're like, oh, he's the shit weasel. There was nothing.
Always, yeah.
Everyone in the theater knew, and someone even told me, they're like, the movie was really, really predictable, but I didn't care that it was predictable. I was like, yes, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to know. All right, what's The Vanishing?
It's a movie about three guys. Steven. It's a movie about three guys that find a trunk of gold in a lighthouse, and then they disappear.
They disappear.
Yeah, they disappear. And Jerry has a sweet, like...
They vanish.
Yeah, they vanish. Jerry has, like, a sweet, like, boating hat on and
Those
a beard.
Cool. That's all acting is. It's just costume.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. All right, guys. So those are their careers recently. I mean, I think we can all agree the highlight of this is either Hunter Killer or the look on Morgan Freeman's face when he realizes what the Nutcracker actually was.
This is not what I said. This was not what I signed up for.
Movie did not look good. I have to say, so Morgan was great. He's always great. Yeah. This was the first movie I can remember watching in a long time where I was like, he looks elderly.
He looks old.
Morgan's been a pretty elderly dude for a while.
I mean, he's looked old since he was 30.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of his MO. But because Morgan Freeman's got to be...
He's almost 80, right? I think he's 80.
Yeah.
Everyone kept saying that age on the carpet. But yeah, he did... It was like the moment in The Edge.
Yeah.
Where you like saw Anthony Hopkins like falling in the water and stuff. You're like,
yeah, right.
Be careful with him. He's a treasure.
Yeah, right. I think Freeman's 82.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think someone specifically said that.
Yeah. So I mean, rightfully so, he should look like he's getting up there. But like, it was interesting to see him, and then to see him in person. You know, I'd never seen Morgan Freeman in person before.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
Yeah, we had a discussion over who was going to interview who.
Yeah,
and obviously
Ben.
the toss up was obviously Freeman, and
because at that point we already knew Nolte wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, well, no, we were unsure, right?
Or I thought he'd already passed, but maybe
we missed
not.
him already.
Yeah.
I mean, pretan much, Freeman's he's a legend. But I was so pleased we got him. Like I couldn't believe we got him.
Yeah, I was too, and I mean. Yeah, it was cool. I'm glad that we have the professional respect for one another to have had a good conversation about it. None of us walked away feeling like they missed out.
Well, I mean, it was for Action Industry, so it was exciting.
It's ours. It's our brand. So this movie started happening in 2016. That's when the sequel to London Has Fallen was announced. Angel Has Fallen got in development. Obviously, Jared Butler was going to be coming back and acting as a producer on the film. Rick Roman Waugh, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Rick Roman Waugh was announced as the director in July of 2017. And not David Buckley. There was a thing down here. Where is it? Holt McClaney, who's... Callany. I don't really know who he is, but I know that he's famous from Mindhunter.
Okay.
And that show is massive. I know that season 2 just came out. I watched the first episode of season 1. I couldn't get into it. I'm gonna try again. I hear people love it.
I've watched 8 episodes of season 1 or 7 or something. I think it only is 8. I really liked season 1 a lot. I didn't ever finish it, but I would like to watch season 2.
You liked it a lot.
It's Fincher, dude.
I know.
And it's great actors. People keep telling me, I've heard this for a long time now, people think that I am the lead in that show.
Really?
John Groff. People think his mannerisms and like his look and all of that, and like I've gotten told this by a bunch of people that they see like a very, very striking similarity, which is funny to me.
So Holt McCallany, who I'm assuming is the second lead or something in that show, he was actually supposed to be Danny Houston's character, but then because of season 2 Mindhunter and scheduling conflicts, he was actually replaced by Danny, which I'm so happy about. Not that I don't like Holt. I just love Danny.
Danny Houston's great. I mean, Danny Houston's been a role player in so many movies we like over the years, and he's just always great. And what a charming dude.
Dude, he was so charming.
That interview was like that was one of those ones where I was like, man, I feel like I know you. I could talk to you for like an hour.
Oh, I was watching. There was just this like shit-eating grin on my face from like 2 feet away. I was like, this guy's so awesome.
Did you know?
Entertaining?
Did you know that he was John Huston's son?
I don't know how he missed it.
I'm not sure. Ryan, did you know this?
You just blew my mind right now.
Right?
I had no idea that.
And his grandpa is also a famous actor-director, right?
Yeah. There's Walter Houston, I think, or something like that.
Something like that. So we had no idea that he was like a legacy Hollywood legend.
John Huston being the father of Danny Houston was like, when he was like, yeah, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. And I was like, and like 6 of the other most famous movies ever made.
Like,
in
my
mind.
dad. And I was like, what? I was that emoji. I was the head exploded emoji.
Yeah, in fact,
that moment.
just because maybe some of you guys don't know.
Yeah, Ryan's scrolling through this massive filmography right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
John Huston, who's one of the most famous directors ever to live. Here are some of like the highlights of his career, the movies. So his first film he ever directed in 1941 is The Maltese Falcon. So Humphrey Bogart, very famous film.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, groundbreaking and insane movie. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, 1948. Key Largo, also 1948. You continue working through here. The African Queen in 51. These are, mind you, like Oscar-winning movies. Like Bogart won Best Actor for The African Queen. Moby Dick, 1956. You continue going through here. This is in the 50s, by the way, guys. We haven't even gotten to the movies that like most of our friends have seen
And like talk about.
Yeah. So you start to get into the 70s here. The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. That and The Macintosh Man back to back are both Paul Newman films in the 70s. The Man Who Would Be King, very famous movie.
Yep.
Victory with Stallone, 81. He directed Annie in 82.
He directed Annie?
He directed Annie. He directed
love Annie.
Prizzi's Honor in 85. That's a bunch of Oscar noms in that movie.
I like how of all the movies you guys talked about, I've been like, Annie?
Yeah.
No way!
This is all Danny Houston's dad. So
Albert Finney was in Annie.
it's crazy. Insane.
So Rick Roman-Waugh, who directed this movie, this was kind of a surprising moment for me. He directed Felon, Snitch, and Shot Caller, which are like all pretty...
I didn't see Shot Caller. I've heard it's kind of good.
Okay.
I've seen Felon.
Yeah, I've heard of Felon.
Yeah, I've seen Felon. Felon's the one with Stephen Dorff and Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And he kills an intruder coming into his home and has to go to prison and becomes friends with Val Kilmer, who's like the Zen murderer, who like, and it's like we're getting into fat, sweaty Kilmer territory, but we're not all the way there yet. And that movie's decent. And then Snitch is the Rock movie, which I never watched.
Right.
And I've heard very middling things about it, but
I mean, his whole career doesn't... And again, like, this movie isn't like an Oscar contender or anything, but
No.
it does feel leaps and bounds ahead of these movies for some reason. Maybe it's just because I love Jerry so much.
I think that's 100% why.
Is that how it is?
I think the third film, I think a lot of people don't even remember the second film of this franchise happened. That's what I've been hearing this week. People are like,
Really?
there's a second movie in the Fallen franchise?
London Has Fallen. Yeah. I mean, London was pretty bad. You reminded me that I was pretty upset when I like walked out of it, even though I enjoyed it. I was like, that movie was so stupid. I liked it, but it was so dumb.
Yeah, when I was going to rewatch one of them, I considered which one I should put the time into rewatching because I'd seen London twice already, and I decided to just rewatch Olympus again because it was better. And
Well, Olympus, they kill Ashley Judd in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, right?
Olympus? You mean London?
Olympus.
Oh yeah. She's the wife. She's
Yeah.
the president's wife.
Yeah, okay. So this movie, we'll get into critical and box office here. It was produced by Lionsgate. Thanks again, Lionsgate. Big shout out to you guys
Yeah,
for
you guys
getting
are
us there
amazing.
on
Thank
the
you so
carpet.
much.
It only had a $40 million budget, which is pretty shocking because
Yeah.
I guess you think about the big action scenes, and the one at the very end is probably pretty cheap, realistically. And then the drone strike was probably where they spent a bunch of money.
Yeah, but also the drone strike's probably a lot of CGI, to be honest, right?
Yeah, definitely. There were some practical explosions in there. At least it looked like there were. So $40 million released August 23rd of this year. It's already grossed, as of yesterday, $21.3 million domestic. Foreign, it has not been released yet. So we're sitting at about half the budget right now. It is number one, and it's doing well for itself. I saw a headline a little bit ago about how it was surging number one at the box office. I can't remember what it actually finished at.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the question. So let's just assume this movie, because he's pretty successful, Jerry, overseas.
Yeah.
He has a pretty good brand over there.
Oh, yeah, especially in China now.
Yeah, so let's just say this movie, they spend 40 to make it. Let's say, the marketing budget's another 10. Let's say they need to make back 50 million. And let's say this movie makes 100 worldwide, which I think is a reasonable expectation. Worldwide, it could make 100, 120. Like, it could easily double the money. Do they make a fourth one? And I imagine if they make a fourth one, Nolte comes back, because he's the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
And they have to have a protege who comes in to take over for Banning if they want to make this a long-term franchise, because...
Jai Courtney.
Guys, can you get cast list? Okay, Jai Courtney, Sam Worthington, Joel McKinnon,
Yep, we need Joel McKinnon in there.
Edgerton. These guys look promising.
Charlie Hunnam,
anybody?
All right, actually, this is a good moment
Hetland.
then. What do you think? Buy or sell?
On the franchise?
On the franchise. Now that the best one has come out, but they're 3 deep, what do you do?
I'm only buying if Tom Cruise replaces Mike as Mike Banning. No, you sell the franchise. I think the fact that this movie was good is insane. I think it's crazy that this movie was good.
I know. I was shocked.
I couldn't believe it. I love Banning, but give me a new Jerry B franchise.
Yeah.
Give me a franchise. I mean, I think what's hard about this is that, like, you know, Jerry's somewhere in his late 40s, I want to say. He's like close to 50, somewhere in there.
You think so?
And, you know, he didn't look great in this movie.
No.
I hate to say it.
He looked way better in person.
He always looks amazing in
He
person.
looked incredible.
Doesn't
he looks like a lion.
He does. He has a mane.
He has a full mane with his hair and his beard, and he's just an awesome dude. Like,
Yeah.
he just oozes charisma.
So guys, actually this is a good thing to share because we didn't get to share this. So on the carpet, you know, he's the last guy shows up because it's a star, it's standard, right? And it's after 7:30, right? The screening of his premiere starts at 7:30. It's like 7:38 or something, and he's gotten through the full group, and they group him at the end for one grouped question, right? You put your mic in, and it's like for press, it's not my favorite because you usually don't get anything good out of it.
It's usually like a weird over the shoulder shot, and you're usually just getting responses from the star of someone else's question.
Yeah, exactly. And incidentally, our battery died in the middle of the shot, so we didn't the group question we were supposed to get, we didn't even get.
Yep.
And so I look at his publicist literally as he's walking past us, and I say, "Hey, we have the 2 most watched reviews of these 2 films on the internet. Can we just get a soundbite?" And she was like, "Ugh." She said, "What?" And I was like, "We have 2 videos about 3 million views. Can we just get a quick soundbite from Jerry?" And he was like, "Yeah, you're taking more time asking me than just to do it."
Yeah, he's like, you're taking more time talking about your fucking thing than just doing it.
We could have done it by now. Yeah. And so he's like, "What do you want me to say?" And I'm like, "Can you just say I'm Gerard Butler for Action Industries, and you can call me Jerry B anytime." And he looks at me and he's like, "Wait, what was it again?" What was it again? He asks again, and I say it again, and he grabs a mic, delivers it perfectly to camera, and that's it, and walks on.
Yeah.
Not annoyed, no attitude, smiling, happy, gave us exactly what we wanted. Like,
and he didn't just do I'm Jared Butler, thanks for coming. Like, he actually took the time and the wherewithal to ask Ben again to say it perfectly.
Which mirrors my experience with him on Geostorm, which is just that he is so charming, so like positive, like his energy is so good, and you could feel it. It's the craziest thing, guys, if you think about that, how impactful it actually is to have that kind of energy in the world, what it means. It's kind of probably one of the reasons that Jerry B is a medium actor who's having a really, really good back half of his career right now.
That guy probably makes so much money just going and having fun on set. I mean, he doesn't have to do the gut-wrenching, out in the cold, eating livers. Like, he doesn't have to do that.
No.
He gets to sit in his tent and trailer, show up to set looking however he wants, and have just the best time. So
yeah, I mean, Jerry, like exactly. Like, you think about, he's the voice in the three How to Train Your Dragon films.
Yep.
He's in a bunch of like low A to B level action movies, and he's well liked by everyone.
Everyone loves him. Everyone loves working with him. I've literally never heard a bad thing about him from anybody.
And this movie was fucking awesome.
This movie was awesome.
What a win.
6.8 on IMDb, 40% on the tomato meter, but a 95%
By the audience?
By the audience.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to hear and see. And favorite line, Ben, you and I actually have the exact same favorite line.
It's because, and this was one of those favorite line fist pumps.
Yeah.
He actually has a line like this in London as well when he's down behind the car with Eckert and Bassett
early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
he's
actually remember it a little bit.
Because he says to him, he's like, "Don't worry, we're going to get you out of here." And this is after like 72 people have died around him. There's like a car that's just fallen on the other car. Total confidence by Banning. But no, in this movie, he's got Morgan, Freeman's running around. Freeman's, just gotten out of the hospital. He's, in a hat. They're trying to move him. They're behind this car, and all these guys are shooting at him. And he looks at Freeman, and he's like, "We're gonna move you, sir. People are gonna fall, but not you." And then and he gets up and moves, and you're like, "Yes, yes, yes!"
It's just that's exactly what it was like. Like, we both looked at each other and were like, "Yes, man!
He's gonna get him to safety. He's gonna do it. He tapped him, honey. He tapped him.
People are gonna fall, but not you." Yeah, it's just something about the writing of that is just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful and perfect. So that is our favorite line.
It's one of those things, if you think about this, and this always sticks with me, right? It's like, they knew that line was going to be good.
Yep.
When you read the script, and Jerry's reading the script, he looks at that line and he goes, "That's sweet. It's a sweet moment. If we do this right, this is going to be good."
Yeah.
It's the same moment in the first one. Morgan looks at the script and he goes, "All right, so that moment when I take over and I go, get me a coffee with 2 sugars in a real cup, not one of those plastic cups."
Yeah.
And like, that he read that line. He's like, "If I do this right, this is going to be sweet."
It could be stupid or it could be awesome.
And it's always borderline in those moments where you're like, I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's in that moment it was sweet.
That's what acting is. That's the conviction right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
sorry.
Favorite lines by the audience?
I don't know. Do you guys have any favorite lines that we can get to, or maybe throw them in the chat and I can come back to them? We do not. Everyone's just talking about how awesome Jerry B is, saying that they see him in a bar with straight scotch and a cigar. Jerry B is the best. Jerry B is a man's man. If you guys all want to hang out, start a Jerry B fan club. We'll be there. Paul Denizio says, favorite line, Nolte, you're welcome. Yeah, that was a good one. Everything Nolte does is great.
Well, also, so that's the other thing is so when Nolte has his line where he's talking to Piper, right? So he has the line where he's talking to Piper, and she's like, "But how would I know that it's even you? Say something that only you know." And he's like, she says something like, "I don't know much more than you know," or something like that. And he's like, "What I do know is that he was born Michael Patricia Banning," and he says like, "and his mother's name was something," and you're like. And he just says it with this like
the pain in his eyes. He starts to like tear when he thinks about the
wife.
He
says, and I very much regret leaving.
Yeah.
Or something like something. He just has a quick monologue.
I left. Yeah.
And it's great. And
it's so good.
And you're like, this is like why you got hired. Because like the world knows you can do this. It's the same reason that they had to fight for you on Warrior and you got hired and then you got an Oscar nom for it. Because like you're great. You're just great.
Yeah, because on paper, I bet it looks like 3 lines or 4 lines. It doesn't look like a monologue. It doesn't look like a moment.
Right.
It could just be, whatever. But that's like, again, why Nolte's so amazing is he takes his time, and he puts all this emotion into it, and you're like, huh. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. I kind of want to cry right now. That is beautiful. So, I can't remember exactly the monologue, and I can't wait to rewatch it because that was just the best. So, every single week, as you guys know, we run an Instagram competition by our good friend Richard Eric Jarvie.
That's on Action Industries Instagram. Go follow right now if you haven't already.
And Ian Keeley is the winner of this week's competition. I believe the question was, who plays Aaron Eckhart's wife in Olympus Has Fallen?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was, and Ian was one of the few people that answered it correctly and then was narrowed down randomly. He says, woohoo! That's so cool. I'm going to be watching the episode tonight over here in Ireland. Been a massive fan of the show since the Mad Max Fury Road episode with our good friend Steph C. Was that episode 2?
5?
Five?
Yeah,
2
back
was,
in 2015.
2 was a sweaty one.
Yeah.
Question, he says, out of the movies covered on the show, what character would you like to see Mike Banning team up with or face off against? I'd love to see him go up against Nick Cage, face off Nick Cage or current day Nick Cage, doesn't matter. Or team up with Riggs and Murtaugh, or be in Die Hard with a Vengeance with John McClane. Love the show, guys. Watched so many episodes multiple times, especially the Edge episode, Charles.
The Edge, Charles.
The Edge, Charles.
I don't quite feel myself today, Charles.
First of all, Ian, thank you so much. That is one of the best. I mean, they're all amazing, but the fact that
it's a great response. I love that.
Yeah, I love that response. So, what do you got?
I think.
What do you think?
The character that I would love to see Banning team up with, probably it's. I think him and Brian Mills together would be sweet because Mills is pretty no nonsense. Yeah. And then just having Jerry and Liam together, and especially if you took London Has Fallen Banning, where he's like a little more like one-linery, like the two of them together and almost just like an odd couple like buddy cop thing would be pretty funny.
I like that.
Right?
I like that a lot.
Like what if you put them in like another country, put them in like Egypt together or something in disguise?
I'll see you that, and I'll raise you Jerry B helping Hugh Jackman in Prisoners look for his daughter. Oh, there'd be so much yelling. So much beardage and so much yelling.
What if Jerry was just Detective Loki, actually?
Instead of him instead.
It's just him instead. Just them yelling at each other.
Calm down.
I need you to calm down.
I need you to calm down.
Amazing.
And also, we got to do our action industry shout out this week.
Yes, a quick action industry shout out. So this time we are going to shout out Emma McAllister.
Yeah.
Emma McAllister, member of the Action Advisory Board. Recently, we, about 7 months ago, we started Action Industries, a brand that Drew and I own together. And, we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Action Industries. We have swag where we have all kinds of cool stuff. We do live streams, the Action guys over on Collider. And we have this incredible team that all works together to make it happen, right? So everybody on the team does something, right? Whether it's putting together graphic design or it's pulling news articles or posting to the Instagram. And Emma does unbelievable graphic design work.
She really does.
She creates the images that you guys see on Twitter and Instagram almost every single day. The template was created by Jacob Patrick, but Emma works tirelessly 5 days a week pulling those together.
Usually more, honestly, with her work ethic.
And her attitude is so good. She always, she's always throwing in the chat, if there's anything else you guys need, just let me know. Huge fan of Emma. She also plays a character called Dollface.
Yes.
And Dollface is in the it's in the movie trivia Wait,
It's in one of the fan leagues. I can't remember exactly which one it is.
the movie trivia showdown, maybe?
Maybe that's what it is. And she's also auditioned to be on the Schmodown. Now, we all know, take Kevin Smets as an example, sometimes your audition doesn't go well the first time. Emma, she did not make it through, but that does not mean she will not be there eventually. Emma McAllister, we love you so much. We cannot thank you enough. Ryan was just showing our Instagram up on the page, and all those news are all written by her and updated by her every single day. So, Emma, thank you so much. And as always, we salute you.
We salute you. All right, guys, there are 3 action movie categories. Those categories are totally ridiculous, totally legitimate, and ridiculously legitimate. Which category does this movie fit into for you?
I think it's ridiculously legitimate.
Just because Nolte.
I think just because of Nolte, I think it brings back down to earth. I think the relationships are all good. And then I think it's just like the explosion part and then the fact that he survives the drone strike. I guess maybe that's because of Danny Houston.
There's some absurdity too. Well, yeah, he does. They intentionally don't kill him.
They don't kill him because they want to blame
frame him.
Yeah,
yeah.
frame him.
There was definitely some ridiculous stuff. I mean, there was stuff in this movie that like it's a little expansive. You know, like the Jada Pinkett character is kind of unnecessary. The fact that banning
we haven't even talked about her.
Yeah. But I think I'd go with the middle category for you as well. It it feels correct. So there's only one last thing left to talk about on the show today, and that's called the pitch. Wow. That was a bad pitch.
Yeah, I didn't like yours.
Off key.
I didn't like yours that time.
I thought it would be cool.
He will sing better than that in New York.
I will. So the pitch is that we have no show next week.
Yeah.
We're taking the week off because Drew and I have a live show on Thursday. We'll be in New York over the weekend. We will not be back in time to do our show on Monday. So for the first time in a very long time, we're just taking the week off of the show. However, it's entirely possible we're going to be able to stream the show Thursday. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. And if we are able to get the audio from the show, maybe we just take the audio from that show and we just post it on the feed here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but we will keep you posted. Make sure to follow along with us and all the things that we do. And a big time Generals shout out to all the Generals, patreon.com/Team Action, Andrew Hayes, Paul Denuzio, Billy Belford, John Getz, John Patterson, Jake Iacovetta, Kyle Grandinetti, Kelsey Kirkland, Mac Ryan, Nick Gilmore, Jeremiah Morris, Kyle Hilbert, and Tamir.
You guys are so amazing. Thank you all so much for what you guys do.
Everything. You guys are the best.
We love you. Just kidding. We salute you, AJ Lancaster, General Lancaster. You are not forgotten, sir. Thank you for all your support, guys. Thanks to every single one of you. Have a great week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Be sure to tune in to everything that we're doing on Twitter so you can see possibly this live show on Thursday. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.